Let's rock and roll, boys.
Hello, everybody. I'm Matt Schultz, and I'm here with Austin Cummings.
Oh, hello.
And Andrew Watson.
How's it going?
And thank you for tuning in to another Nintendo podcast. It's been a little bit. It's been a week and a half.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I just took the clock off my wall because it was making too loud a ticking noise. So I'm no sense of time anymore. We could have recorded an hour ago. Could have been 2 weeks. Who can say?
Oh, I've missed you both. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while, and I'm glad to be back, y'all.
Yeah, we back. We're better than ever. Kept
So
you waiting,
good.
huh?
Well, this week we're going to go ahead and talk about some. Well, ultimately, we're talking about some character rumors for Smash Brothers Ultimate, and we're going to hit some on some big end news. So before we get to that, I don't know. First, how you all been?
You know what? Before we get to that, Matt, tell us a little bit about you because you've kind of been through the ringer recently.
Speaking of valuables, right?
happened?
So Oh, sorry, Andrew. I haven't told you yet. So I'm this weekend. One of my good friends, he's leaving town, and we got like a bucket list of things for him to do. One of them was to bike to a brewery in another state. It's about a 3-hour bike ride from Illinois to Indiana, and we went and did it. But about an hour into it, swerved into our lane going like 40 miles per hour on this like super expensive bike, and my friend had to stop super quickly, and I was right behind him, and I slammed on my brakes, and of course my left hand hit first, which was my brake for my front tire, so gravity took me straight over my handlebars.
Excellent.
Yikes.
hit my helmet first, and then the left side of my body, and then cursed this guy out, got his information, and then even though I was in pain, I was like, oh, we got to keep riding. Like this is for my friend. He's been wanting to do this for so long. Yeah, we went for 2 hours more on this bike, and then it wasn't until
the first hour. Man.
Yeah, and so after 2 hours of riding, we finally get to this brewery. We sit down, and I go, dude, I'm not feeling great. And when we try to get back on the bike after,
no arms. You've got no arms left.
I could not lift myself back onto the bike.
You basically unicycled those last 2 hours. Just total balance, no arm movement.
My back was so stiff. It was all my back.
That is so bad.
Keeping me up. So I am in core. 2 giant splints. I look like C-3PO.
Oh my God.
Human cyborg relations.
Yeah. Master Luke.
Speaks bocce. Yeah, that's incredible. The first thing Matt sent a photo over, and of course I had to ask, being a responsible Nintendo fan, how's this going to affect his high-level ARMS play? Because we know that's
really took a hit.
Most people are doing online nowadays. That rich ARMS community.
Yeah, it really sucks to be out of the community for a bit, but they showed me a ton of love.
Right. No, I feel that. Well, listen, we wish you a speedy recovery. We're glad you're still able to.
I'm really hoping the ANP community really reaches out.
We're starting a GoFundMe. It's $15 a month for SoundCloud fees. We need help covering, so please reach out, a parent or what have you. Glad you're still with us. Glad you're still
I
here
appreciate
to
it. How about you two? It's been a week and a half. How's it been post E3 for both of you?
That post E3 cooldown. I tell you what, we the three of us as audience members know. I mean, we worked hard to cover E3, in its entirety. Oh, yeah. I'm talking from start to finish.
At our phone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were on the phone. We were going Reddit.com, IGN, Kotaku, just back and forth, hours on end. We couldn't be bothered with traditional work responsibilities or anything else. I
canceled all my meetings. Yep.
Canceled all my meetings. Yeah. I said enough is enough. I need to focus in on this. It comes once a year, and the ANP audience. How are they going to get the E3 news if not through the pod? So I think post that, it's been a cool down, and we're kind of recovering, hence the little bit of a delay in this episode. But doing well. It's been warm. It's been warm up here in the Portland area. So that's been kind of fun.
We've had some thunderstorms. Which,
some thunderstorms. Yeah, it's been spooky for us.
Not normal.
Not normie storms. And Yeah, so I think it'd be safe to say that Andrew and I have been through a lot too because of the thunderstorms. It's not quite the bike thing, but in some ways it's spookier.
It's scary. It's a little bit scary.
It's very scary.
Sometimes.
It's warm. It rained. There was some time to swim. There was some time we saw Jurassic World 2.
Oh, I saw it twice.
Andrew saw it twice.
Oh, really? We're gonna have to talk about it at some point. Well, maybe post podcast, like some. If you stay tuned, we'll talk a little.
Exactly.
ANP movie.
ANP movies, another Nintendo movies podcast featuring Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, baby, taking China by storm.
So getting a little steering back to some Nintendo stuff. Let's do some confessions. Did anyone been buying anything? Anyone purchase any of these recent Nintendo releases that we've just had?
I just purchased Mario Tennis.
All right, yeah. I think we're all on the tennis train.
Yeah,
we're on the tennis train. Yeah, tennis is well known for its highlighting train, and there is a train in the game. Spoilers up in that Snow Kingdom. You know the place.
Oh, yes.
You got to get that Infinity Power Stone. We have some tennis. We've been playing some tennis for sure. I'll tell you what. I also picked up that old Hollow Knight. I don't know if that's on.
I've been wanting to pick up Hollow Knight for so long, but I finally bought. I think I mentioned. Maybe I mentioned this last time, but Night in the Woods was on sale for an E3 goodness, and I've been playing through that and really enjoying it.
Nice. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hollow Knight play has been very good. I will say it's very long. So the game's only $15, but it's kind of the Metroidvania format, a little Dark Souls-ish. Although the difference between this and like a Metroidvania is there's fewer abilities that kind of gate off areas. So there's less of like, oh, it's the red door, or like, here comes that green door coming at you. You're gonna need that green weapon. The more so in this, there's just a lot of different. The combat is very challenging, and sometimes the map layout, for the most part, you can kind of encounter each area at your leisure with very few kind of gating obstacles. So it's quite good, but challenging and very long. I'm at the place, there's a lot of games to play, as I think we can all attest. But I like the idea of the games occasionally being a touch on the shorter side, so I can actually finish them. And Hollow Knight, I'm probably already 25 or so hours in. So
it's still not done. Wow.
Still not done, no. And I want to collect everything, but at this point I'm starting to feel like, just want to get through, slay some bugs. Probably feel a little regretful. It's a melancholy
what
game.
What is he? Is he a bug? Is that what he is?
That's a great question, and I haven't gone. I reached out to the developers, haven't gotten a good response. Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, but he's also kind of a ghost, kind of a skeleton ghost. He's very, very Halloween forward, which I always like to see. But it's it's great. It's moody, great music, great kind of mythos and lore trickled out throughout it. So I've really been enjoying that. But it is long. But that's mainly been what I've been playing.
Yeah. Yep. How about you, Andrew? Anything? You said you bought Aces?
Yeah, I bought Mario Tennis. That's what I've been playing. It's
you getting used to the controls? Are you playing it handheld or on your TV mostly?
I actually play on the TV mostly, but then whenever we play like locally, it's always handheld.
Yo, you got a couple of buddies that are playing.
Justin Austin, this loser guy.
And we're
gonna have to get online.
I know, and we have a lot of thoughts on this that we can say for maybe the next pod specifically on it. But it is it's an interesting little concoction, that Mario Tennis Aces, because it's kind of it's two parts good, one part it's a little bit it's got its quirks, but we all do.
A little rough.
Yeah,
we all have. Yeah, this podcast has all the quirks.
All the rough edges.
Well, I love it. We're all playing. We're all just constantly playing on this device, and it's fantastic. And I do think the Switch is definitely, I don't know, caters to those 15-hour, 20-hour games. Right. And the pick up and go. I'm doing a lot of traveling coming up, so sorry for our listeners. We're gonna try to put out some stuff, but I'll be kind of bopping around for 3 weeks, and I have a couple of games I'm intending to get through, Hollow Knight being one of them. Now I'm nervous. I didn't know it was that long.
I know it's long. But it's a good thing. It kind of grabbed me in a way that a lot of games really haven't. I did beat God of War on a different system, if you can guess which. But and I loved that.
Xbox.
But Xbox One X, the most powerful. But besides that, the Hollow Knight's really been the biggest thing to grab me recently, and it's a huge recommendation for anyone. I would say it falls in the same echelon as like SteamWorld Dig 2 and Celeste and Shovel Knight as games that you must play, especially on the Switch. I would say it's right up there with it. It looks great too. The Switch is just always the magic of that thing, just taking around with you. And So agreed on all fronts. It is a good one. Another one, little shout out briefly. The old Lumines. I don't know if either one of you played that back on the PlayStation Portable PSP, but that is a great game. And that just came out yesterday.
Right.
Right.
I think I saw the dude I can never remember from Nintendo who oversees their like indie stuff. He tweeted out about it. I gotta figure out what his name is.
We're gonna do a little research on that because now we've forgotten his name a few times. But Lumines, so good. It was back on the PSP. It's a rhythm game. It's kind of one part's almost Puyo Puyo more so than Tetris. Another part it just has a really great frenetic rhythm music element to it, and it's made by the developer who did Rez, and they're going to do a Tetris game on PSVR later this year. And anyway, Lumines is a treat. Strong recommendation for that. And it's only $15, but it's a fun, colorful puzzler, of which there aren't a ton of really standout puzzle games on the Switch as of yet. There's that, and there's Picross, but beyond that, there aren't maybe a ton. So that's a good one as well.
That's true.
So is it safe to say that these are also our salvations? These are the games we've been playing?
Mainly Hollow Knight. Mainly just Hollow Knight all the time. Not as much tennis as I'd like, mainly because I just keep getting rocked in that game. Just to kind of lead into that.
You're not very good.
I'm not very good. This is something. Let's get it out now in front of the ANP audience. And I did do a number of local play matches and had a great time. And
it was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
And when Andrew wasn't hacking, it was like a fair fight. Otherwise, when he was using all those things to his advantage, when he was land switching and lagging on me, just to kind of get that edge, anything he can do to kind of get that win. When he was playing fair, I think he tasted defeat.
All right, let's move on. Go for it, Andrew.
No. Let's move on.
All right. Well, we got any fan corrections.
Fans? No.
Did we goof in our last episode? I think we did.
He did. And let's give it. Yeah, King D. You know what? Thank you for commenting as always. And anyone else listening, really, anyone, please comment, please share, please email us at anothernintendopodcast@gmail.com. Please follow us on Twitter. Actually, let's do a quick housekeeping, Matt. We haven't really worked this into our episodes so far, but we are now available on a number of podcast networks.
We are. Yes, we are.
As always, ask your parents before going online, but we're on iTunes, we're on Google Play, we're on Stitcher. And despite all of that, the views are still the views listened pretty low. So weird about that. Maybe got to call called Johnny Ive over at Apple and asked maybe there's some issue with the routing on it. Maybe it's just not going through the pipes correctly. I don't know exactly what the deal is, but we are available and would like to have some, to check in with us.
Yeah.
So available. And actually, we do have a new subscriber on our YouTube channel.
Very good.
It might be me.
No way!
Don't say the name.
No, Joseph Peskin.
Good.
Do we know Joseph Pexon?
That's not me. I'm not a Joseph Peskin.
You know what? If you do, call in right now. We're live. We're coming to you live. Joseph. That's good. And good. I don't think we have any new Twitter mentions or anything. But if you know someone, and they have a lot of long drives coming up, and
need some good old Nintendo news to listen to and some commentary.
Couple boys just kind of shooting it, if that appeals too, and it may.
All right, well, I think that's a great transition into some big A news. Let's talk
news
about
of the week. Here it is. How many items have we got this time? This time, boys.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 things have happened. Only 1 week, 1 news item a day. It's how Nintendo does it. They trickle one thing out and they're radio silent.
So I'll go ahead and run it down and pass it off to Andrew and Austin. So we got some latest releases. We just talked a little bit about it. We talked about Mario Aces, and I think we're going to do a separate podcast on that. But we had the Octo Expansion come out. Anyone play that?
So actually,
I did not. No.
I did play it a little bit, Matt. How about you? I think I saw you on there.
I have played it, and it's hard.
That's what I keep hearing. I hear it's like just brutally difficult.
But I very much enjoy it. There's been a couple articles that are like, this is the single player mode for like the hardcore Splatoon players.
It's the Dark Souls Splatoon with the sea cucumber.
Yeah, it is, but there's so many squid or octolings out there now. There's a lot of people playing online with not just octolings, but like with gear that you've earned from the series or from that part of the game, and it's I'm like, damn, there's a lot of people that have already completed this game or clearly have gotten a lot from it already, and it's been tough for me to get through it, but I will get through it.
My words. Will you be playing it in handheld mode when you're on the trip? Do you ever play Splatoon 2 handheld mode? Do either of you?
All the time. I actually enjoy it a lot. I like playing in handheld.
Do you still use motion?
I can't do it. I can't do it either.
Yeah, I use motion.
You're a wild man.
I'll like head over to my buddy's pretty often and bring my Switch, and he'll play on his TV, and I will just play in handheld. And so last year, early on in the year, I got invited to Nintendo's preview event in Chicago for the Switch. They were like doing a whole Switch thing in like some art studio. They set up the whole. It was like a little so mini cool. E3. It was awesome. Maybe I'll post some photos on it on the podcast on YouTube. And so we got to go, and there was a whole Splatoon 2 section. And my buddy and I were so into Splatoon 1. We weren't great at all. No, everyone, if you've listened to this podcast before, I've gone to a tournament, got my butt handed to me. But went there, and we could only play it in handheld. They only had it in handheld. You're right. That's weird. So my first taste of it was playing it like that, and I was just owning people there. And so I think that's kind of where I started feeling like I could do this in handheld mode, and then I've gotten used to it.
Yeah, well, good for you. That's very commendable. Because I tend to play handheld a lot of times in bed, and so the Switch is kind of over me, and the motion controls are not quite as favorable possibly in that configuration, but I do respect that. Did you play it all last weekend when there was the Splatfest?
Was this the
So this was the
orange juice?
This is a hotly contested thing. I mean, we live in a politically charged climate, as we all know, and I don't need to tell anyone. There's big happenings in Springport again and again, and it's a lot of us, we have a lot of strong opinions, and a lot of people need to get their voices heard, and no issue is that as prescient as the great orange juice debate, pulp versus no pulp. Did either of you vote? And if yes or no, what would have you voted for?
Pulp, of course.
Oh no, I went no pulp.
Oh, I went pulp. That's I went pulp partly working off the assumption that it was going to be way less popular, and that sees to be the thing that wins. It's always hardcore alternative choice characters.
It's nice, a little bit of substance to your orange juice,
Mm-hmm. It's like having a little, just like an orange peel. It's like you count that also as like a little food item in that breakfast buffet of taste.
It's the same reason I can't do boba. I just like
I can't do boba either.
I just don't like things in my stuff.
Yeah, it's like, this is not what I asked for. I didn't ask for this. I assume it's fish eggs. I don't quite understand exactly what the consistency is.
It's boba bubble tea.
No, I know.
Yeah, boba tea. Yeah,
boba? Or are you
pro boba?
Oh,
that's the next one. That's the next Splatfest.
Django, but you know me.
Predicted.
Boba tea versus Django Fett.
So we've talked a little bit about Hollow Knight, and obviously Mario Tennis Aces is out, and then anything else? Any other recent releases?
As far as our last stuff on the big end of the news, item number one, no, that's really all. Lumines being the other thing that came out, worth checking out. The other thing actually that is worth mentioning, we can make this item number two, is the Donkey Kong Adventure Mario plus Rabbids DLC is out. Now, Matt, I think when we last talked about this, you had not finished Mario plus Rabbids. Is that correct?
No, but I have picked it up and played a few more levels.
How was it going back? How was Rabbid Peach? She's fun. She's still fun.
Amazing as always. I need more.
Good at taking selfies.
I need her in a Super Smash Brothers in some way, shape, or form.
Don't say that, because if Sakurai, God forbid, someone tricks him into listening, he tries to go for Nintendo voice chat, part of the IGN family of podcasts, and he accidentally chooses this.
The Nintendo Power podcast picture sort of looks like ours. So that's
you're right. Exactly. The whole marketing campaign we have going on right now for this podcast is just malicious trickery to somehow bamboozle someone into selecting this podcast, wanting one that's like well made, that people know they're talking about.
Wait, does it actually? Oh, it does have like stars and ish in the background. What the heck?
And we got to check the tape. We got to check the tapes. That's the correct thing on this one, because we might crack this thing wide open. We might have been first on that one. We may have been first.
I think you guys were first, definitely.
Do you think we have a case? Do you think we have a case there? Is there a judge going to hear? Is there going to hear us?
Considering we're using, no, I don't think we have a case. No.
Do we think maybe this will be Judge Kennedy's final case for the Supreme Court? He's like, the last thing I'm going to hear before I go is the case of the another Nintendo podcast album art versus that of the official Nintendo Power podcast. I don't know. I think we can get it, guys. If Sakurai were to hear this, back on topic, I don't want him thinking for even a second that Rabbit Peach is one of our precious few characters. He should devote even any of his remaining arm strength.
I need an assist trophy. That's all I want.
Oh my god! And what's she gonna do out there? Obviously, selfies.
Selfies.
Tell me
obviously.
one other thing that this character can possibly do.
Well, she'll take selfies, bounce around, and then shoot you with one of her guns.
Okay,
that's
so
it.
You got selfies.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
the selfies they stun you. You know, they kind of like knock you out momentarily.
Yeah, and then you're just kind of racked with
an assist trophy. I could totally see that being an assist trophy.
Right. This is what I think.
She just like gets in front of the camera like the Nintendo pups.
I need this. Oh my god, that would be so great. And she's like trying to take a selfie with the player.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with the player. That's
she's like looking like knocking on the screen, like, come on, let's do this. That'd be so funny.
She's up there for like 15 minutes, and it's like the match is well over, and she's like still there in the background, just a game, and you're like waiting for her whole charade. And it actually reminds me a bit of Tearaway, which was Media Molecule's game on the PS Vita. Very great game.
Yeah.
And in that game,
on PS4.
Oh yeah, and also on PS4. Right? They're in that game, because the Vita used all the features of the Vita, and one of which is the front-facing or like player-facing camera, and it would like to kind of take live footage of you and put you like in the sun and things like that, a la Teletubbies Baby, as we all fondly remember. It would do that. So I say, would they do that for this? It uses that little sensor camera, the little IR infrared-ish camera on the Switch, on the right Joy-Con, and then you just like get this flash of you on the screen, or like your arm, or chest, or whatever it's pointed at. And then you're just kind of like, for myself, whenever I take a selfie, you're just racked with like just self-conscious feelings, or feelings you could have done it better, or a wish to just get in there and just edit that photo, or just take it for like just minutes on it. It would just totally shake your game at that point. Just devastating. Final Destination, selfies only.
What was that?
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea.
So let's move on. So Captain Toad, the demo is out. How are we feeling? Captain Toad fans?
I like that game. I played it on Wii U. I don't know if I'll play it again.
Right, same. I did play it on Wii U and loved it, and I want it. I want to have it, but I don't want to have to buy it. I don't know.
This is how everything is. We have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is like that, and Donkey Kong.
Yeah, but
Tropical
the thing
Freeze.
about this one is, rather than like add new levels, they like took some out and then.
I know, but there are Odyssey levels, so there is a little bit of that. But you're right. Also, some of the Super Mario World 3D World levels are gone.
Right. Yeah.
But as I understand it, because I didn't play a ton of it on Wii U, though I do own it, those levels were fairly like straightforward. There wasn't like a ton going on. So at least these have more kind of inventive, like new Donk City levels and the like.
Right. I kind of wish it was like $20. Like,
it's so true.
This is one of those classic moments where you're like, come on, I owned it on the Wii U, and I would gladly give you more money for it to just like transfer it to my Switch, I guess. Like,
yeah, they did that back on the. So if you had games on the Wii Virtual Console, which had the best Virtual Console Nintendo's had to date, legitimately, then on the Wii U, when those games came out again, there was like an upgrade fee, and it was like a little under $2, I believe, and you could get the Wii U version, which actually ran worse and looked worse than the Wii one, but you could play it on the gamepad, and it was the newer console, so it was kind of exciting. But it would be nice if Nintendo would do this, but of course, joke's on us, because I have bought Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I have bought Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze twice, and we're all about to get Ultimate, which we know is not too dissimilar to the last entry. So I think they know what they're up to, and I think they know they can get away with it, those scoundrels.
Yes, they do.
They certainly do.
They're running out of games anyway, so besides Pikmin, I don't know what else is left.
That's true. Well, I know. We have to do a Wii U cast at some point. We always invoke it in this podcast, but I know Pikmin, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Xenoblade Chronicles X, that WarioWare game none of us played.
Oh, God. So,
Nintendo
all right.
Land.
So, some other stuff in the news. We have those boys from Metal Gear.
Oh, you're familiar
They're making
with
their
Metal
way into a
Gear.
game obviously we know we got a Metal Gear gentleman in Smash Brothers, but this is a new game. Austin, why don't you tell us a little bit about Snake and his friends and how they're going to be in Bomberman?
We prefer Snake and his boys. The snakes, the serpents. If any of you watched Riverdale, the serpents are. Any of you watched Riverdale? Super Bomberman R was a launch game for the Switch, which I did not pick up, even though I was interested. But the reception was pretty soft. It didn't play super well. It was kind of laggy. It didn't look necessarily great. A lot of the levels were at kind of a bizarre angle when it first came out. So I skipped on it, even though it did seem like the best thing next to Breath of the Wild at the time. Now, however, the game, much to its credit, and it's getting released on other platforms, has come out with many more characters. The game now runs at 60, albeit at a lower resolution. It's been this way for a while after being patched. It's actually had a very surprising and encouraging level of support from Konami, who we know, based on their experience with Metal Gear and kind of unceremoniously firing and then kind of taking every opportunity to somewhat diss or not acknowledge the work of Hideo Kojima, the head of the Metal Gear series, now working on Death Stranding for Sony. So they have not fostered a lot of love from the gaming community in the recent year or two. So in any event, for this game, they actually have done a great job at bringing out a lot of these characters, and as such, we have 2 versions of Snake coming from that series into Bomberman. We have Raiden as well, and what is kind of cool is that for both iterations of Snake, we have Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid 1 and Naked Snake from Metal Gear Solid 3, both of which are voiced as they were in the original games by David Hayter, which is kind of a big deal for anyone who's a Metal Gear fan, because David Hayter, who will also be returning to voice his lines in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is cool, although unclear how many new lines there are. But David Hayter was replaced by Kiefer Sutherland back in Metal Gear Solid 5, and a lot of people were salty about it since David Hayter was a mainstay for a great number of Metal Gear games, more than 4 because there were spin-offs. But in any event, so it's cool to see that return. It's like a show of good faith, and there's a lot of characters. There's also a pro wrestler, Xavier Woods. I don't really follow that scene, can't really speak on that, as well as really a host of other characters. It's worth checking out if you're at all interested. It does make me interested in this game, and it would be awesome if there were, kind of like we were mentioning for Captain Toad, a reduced price point for this, because I love Bomberman. Is not as down to go, $40 to $60 for Bomberman. It would be great to see this released as a less expensive title, but it is cool to see this support. There's the Pyramid Head from Silent Hill. There are characters based on the Contra characters now. There's a really cool and bizarre kind of cast of characters, which is neat to see. That's a lot.
All right. Yes, it is cool.
Yeah.
Now, something that actually was super interesting to see was this Mario Kart 8 Labo DLC announcement. Let's talk about that. Andrew Austin, what do you think about this idea of putting a piece of cardboard on your crotch and going after Mario Kart?
And this time, not necessarily for pleasure. Go for it.
It looks really cool. That's totally something that I thought they could do, but wasn't sure if they were going to, and now I know. Now I wonder what else they're going to do for other games.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you on that. The interesting thing for me with that is that we were talking about this, and Matt, you and I have talked about this with what does Labo need to do to kind of, catch on, to keep that initial enthusiasm up. And at the time, I feel like we were looking at mainly it would be cool to have an arcade cabinet Labo, or some type of specific Zelda Labo,
or making certain content or certain IP things out of cardboard specific,
Right. And
but
exactly. But I hadn't really considered this idea, which is really patching the old games to include Labo,
functionality,
which is an awesome idea. It's very in line with how Nintendo has treated the Amiibo, right? Which is patching games to include the Amiibo you might already have in some way, and like kind of give new purposes to things you might already own or have bought for a different reason, get more life out of it. So it's very cool to see that for this reason. It's definitely, kind of a simple iteration to some degree, since it is similar to the motion controls that are kind of already in that game, but it's so cool to see like the Mario art where he like is holding the the Joy-Con or like the whole kind of motorcycle handlebars of the Labo. It's neat.
Yeah. I mean, when I first picked it up and played it with one of my partner, she her godson got a whole Labo kit, and I spent a good couple hours building stuff with him when it first came out, because obviously I was interested. And playing through the motorcycle game, I was just like, why is this not Mario Kart? Like, this looks like Mario Kart, it feels like Mario Kart, but like there's no excitement behind this particular game outside of like, okay, I can finally use my motorcycle kit now. But it's so much cooler that you can now throw the Mario Kart logo on a Labo box.
Right. That is really cool.
Right. So
it would be neat.
Well,
you go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's going to be exciting to see what they do with future IP with this, because I do think they're definitely not done with Labo. I think they have a lot of stuff in the works, and actually kind of will lead into our next and final news article.
Kind of leaving that, like another idea that comes to my mind is like, what if you could use the fishing rod like in Breath of the Wild, right? There was no fishing.
Animal Crossing Switch. How about that?
Out now. Check your Switch. It's on. It's downloading as we speak. A lot of us missed the fishing.
Make a tennis racket for Mario Tennis if you just, it's not going to add anything to the gameplay or anything, but it's a cool thing to hold.
Exactly. There's like the swinging gameplay mode in Mario Tennis Aces, and like back on the Wii, even though it's like, it's always good for that like YouTube video where there's like the QVC type thing where somebody's like using the Switch tennis racket. I assume you boys have seen this, and they swing the Wiimote and the tennis racket accessory portion, which is just some like hokey third-party accessory, just like flies off and puts this huge crack into the TV screen. It's very nice. But but things of that nature where it's like you already own the game, and if you already own Labo or some iteration of it, like some type of extra functionality, is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does. Really fast before we leave this, I've been thinking a lot about Nintendo and patching things recently because of Mario Tennis Aces, a game, again, I am enjoying, but I have a lot of thoughts on of ways it could be improved. And it's interesting, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, game that it received a couple online patches, but Deluxe, it kind of came out like an Ultimate in a bit of a definitive edition right after the Wii U version.
Yep.
And to this day, the online features of that game are so limited, right? You're still using the Mii's. If you want to join your buddy, they have to be like in a match, and you have to like spectate and hope you can even join until you can actually get a chance to race. And it's just wild to me. It's classic Nintendo, but it's like we get this kind of significant patch for the Labo stuff, but still there's like no addressing of like kind of the core maybe issues of the game. Nintendo definitely seems to view DLC right now as a way to like add content, but not necessarily do a lot of changing to things that already exist, is my feeling.
Yeah.
But more for another time.
So let's jump into our final news, update or discussion point is that Labo Switch. Now Nintendo has announced this like creator contest. They really are trying to, again, in an effort to push Labo, and specifically kind of like just the crazy creativity that we've already seen from people, but do it more in a way where they, as a corporation, can spotlight it. They're putting up this beautiful cardboard-inspired Nintendo Switch as a prize for the winners in a few categories. Best customization. Apparently, there's one for like the youngest kid. Like,
just
has its own category.
Just the very youngest one.
Youngest kid to put in. To enter the contest.
My money's on 6 weeks. Continue.
there's also the most original creation. And this thing it looks exactly like when I first saw it, I was like, okay, wait, whoa. Is this just like a cardboard? Like it looks like a Switch? No, the thing is a Nintendo Switch with a painted on,
right,
like textured looking
it looks
cardboard
so cool.
box.
It looks really nice. Like you could on the back, there's the corrugated. I don't know how to describe that. Corrugated cardboard.
Mm-hmm. Right. You can see like the holes in it. Like right.
Oh, it's so
nice.
So
yeah.
much
like
detail.
What's cool about it is not only that, and the Joy-Con look like they're cardboard. They have that look to it. There's like exactly like you guys have mentioned, but like the Switch itself, right? Not just the Joy-Con, like the outer rim of it, the back of it, the dock even. They look like they're Labo themed. And we've only seen the customization so far for the Switch in terms of different colored Joy-Con, so this is much more significant. But it's brutal because there are only 3 being made.
It's ridiculous.
There'll be 5. There'll be 6. One for the Nintendo World Store in New York. One for
that's very true.
Nintendo of America, and one for
Reggie because he's been working hard, putting in the hours, and he deserves it. Gosh darn it!
Now here's the thing I want to say about this story. This is amazing. I mean, this is fantastic. Beautiful. It's gonna get a ton of press. It already is, and it's also there's gonna be a lot of people on social media talking about this, and a lot of fans. What do we think? Is Nintendo? Are we destined to see new Switch, styles? Are we gonna get a solid color Switch that isn't just black in the future? Well, I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
I think so. I mean, if you look at the 2DS, they just came out with 4 in the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
this is Nintendo's bread and butter.
Recently, the Pokeball, Pikachu. Yeah. I mean, this is kind of we mentioned before, but Nintendo for their home consoles has never really done this. There was the Wind Waker edition of the Wii U, but besides that, that was very subtle.
GameCube had a lot of variation, but that I guess that launched with variation.
Most of that launched, yeah. And there was different N64s and things like that. But outside of the Hey You Pikachu, there weren't a ton of very distinct special editions to the same degree as this. In the same way that the handhelds have had a ton. So I do wonder. It is interesting. I wouldn't have predicted this, so I suppose maybe it does open the door a little bit more for something like that. But man, can you imagine? It looks so great.
It does.
Oh God!
I want to see, you were talking about the Crystal N64. Those were my favorites.
I would love that. Even see the guts of all the elements.
Yeah, we can see all the elements.
There's gotta be a series of Joy-Con in the works. I just feel like it's. They gave us a few of these colors, and I know they're rolling them out with certain games, but come on, after year 1, I just figured this would be the year of the Joy-Con,
right? The year of the Joy-Con,
experimentation,
right? No, I'm totally with you. If anything, I kind of hope they don't do it, and they stick to the Joy-Con, but make the Joy-Con a little more adventurous, because I would like to experience some of this branding, but I don't want to get a new dock and a new Switch itself and things like that. But it would be neat to have those kind of crystal see-through colors, the glacier or the orange spice of the GameCube, things like that applied to the Joy-Con. But I don't necessarily want to. I want to have the whole set without having to buy a whole new Switch. But wouldn't it be neat if for Smash there were Joy-Cons that kind of replicated the halves of a GameCube controller? The big A button, the little B button, things like that. That'd be so neat.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't wait for stuff like that. I really want a Microsoft inspired Joy-Con lab to just
yes, that is one of the coolest things to do for the controllers. We can choose our own colors. Yeah, so neat. I would love to see
so nice.
Different Joy-Con. Can you imagine based on all the different Nintendo consoles? So there's ones on each side, and one they look like maybe classic Game Boy halves, or one looks like a Wiimote and a nunchuck, or things of that ilk. Even it would be really neat to see that type of fun collector's mentality, which this thing really speaks to. It's crazy times only 3. I mean, especially for all the collectors out there. Ooh.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the last half of our podcast here. Our ANP headliner this week. What's going on with these secret 6 characters? So, Austin, take us away. We had an article from Reddit.
Right.
Go for it.
Reddit.com. So we were talking about ourselves, all the 3 of us over chat. But basically, there was a little article that popped up, and it was really making the rounds regarding this game about a week ago. And the story on this one is that basically the speculation and current rumor is that there are going to be 6 more characters for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate that are yet to be revealed before the game comes out in December. Now, what was notable about this particular leak is that the individual who leaked it has accurately predicted some of the details that were featured at E3, as well as things like this in the past. So, Verge Ben is, I believe, the person's name. Definitely getting it wrong, but Verge Ben is basically how it's written. And they predicted details about, about Resident Evil 2 remake, Devil May Cry 5, as well as like Dragon Ball FighterZ coming to the Switch. So I believe their track record also does have some things that are a little bit off, but they mentioned Dark Souls Remastered coming to the Switch and things like the Jump Force game that has the various anime characters all in one place. So they really have a strong batting average so far for breaking these rumors. So it seems like fairly credibly, or at least enough to warrant talking about for a podcast as prestigious as our own, what characters we would like to see as the 6 that may still make it to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
All right, I'm ready. Let's have this conversation.
Okay, so we put together a little bit of a game for you people at home. Let's do it. It's me. We wanted to put together a little. It's me. I'm back, boys and girls. Welcome. So we put together a little bit of a game, and it works like this: 6 characters. Now we already know, based on Sakurai's announcements, that many of the characters, or at least some of the characters that have previously been clones, will now appear as separate Echo Fighters that are mechanically basically identical to the character that inspired them, but there's still like a new, kind of fully new costume, maybe some minor changes. We don't really know on that front. So we thought it would be fun to have each one of us pick 2 characters we'd like to see, total of 6, to have 1 brand new character and 1 new character who would fight as an Echo Fighter.
Right.
Who would like to kick us off?
I'll kick us off here. So I've said it before, and I'll say it again.
The last time.
Even though my arms don't work, I do think we're getting a character from ARMS, and I do think, and we talked about it a little bit last time. First, I was thinking, Ribbon Girl or Springman, but I do think, Austin, I think you mentioned.
Universe. Yeah, continue.
I think you mentioned like you really think it might be like Kid Cobra or some other like random character. Can I just say a little something over here? Sure.
I've been very quiet this podcast since time I spoke a little bit. So my feeling on this, I've been doing a lot of thought on the Smash Bros. It's on the forefront of my mind. It's all I can think about. Obviously, I barely get through a day of work doing one thing correctly because I'm just thinking about Smash. I'm thinking about when they're going to announce Goku, when is Shrek getting in there. But I want to say, besides this and besides Donkey, the characters that I would like to see personally, I want to see the random picks, like the real stretches. That is what interests me now. Like I think after there was this feeling of like, well, it's Ultimate. We got Ridley, who was sought after for so long. It felt like it seems crazy not to have Waluigi or King K. Rool, like the other obvious picks.
Right.
But it's like at this point, Waluigi not happening. Also seemingly because it's an assist trophy. But it seems like, at least to me, I want those like totally out of left field Wii Fit trainer characters now. The characters I will never use, but I want those people that really surprise, like just like Ness was back in the day, or the Fire Emblem characters before we had the Game Boy Advance game. Like those ones are like, what is this series? Like the character from Rhythm Heaven or some random character from
you want
Warrior.
Like Lola Pop or what's the Helix? I want Helix.
I do not want Helix. I don't want you to bring that up again. You know how I feel about that green slime boy, that oozer.
He is so Smash Brothers.
What's the mummy guy? Let's get the mummy guy.
Master Mummy.
Master Mummy. Yes, thank you. He does have his masters in Spooks. Yeah, I want those type of things. Like, yes, I'm with you, Matt. Like for sure, Springman, Ribbon Girl. Like that's the obvious, but it's just so cool when they do the out of left field choice.
So you want like Lola Pop or Lola Pop or what's the Helix? I want Helix.
Yeah,
Right. Exactly. And I think that's what's going to happen with ARMS. I don't know. I think they probably want Springman and Ribbon Girl to be the kind of the face for the game itself. And I could see them putting in a different character to kind of represent the ARMS, contingent. But it would just be, I don't know. I don't know if they have a philosophy around introducing another fighting character from another fighting genre of theirs. If they don't want to do it, but it just, to me, it's like, come on, you need to pump more life into some of these characters because they're great. These characters are awesome. I love their little cheesy backstories, and they're so colorful and fun. I would just like to see them represented.
We have Ryu, so there is some flexibility with a Nintendo franchise.
True.
Street Fighter does make an appearance in this game. I'm with you. Can we think between the three of us? Are there any Smash Bros. Characters? I cannot think of one right now. Where the representation of the franchise is with a character who is not the lead character, if that makes sense. So, are there any picks?
Let's see.
I'm kind of thinking no.
There's gotta be one.
Yeah, there's gotta be. King D, get in the comments and let us know. But it's Xenoblade, we got Shulk, Kid Icarus, we have.
I think you're pretty much getting the main characters.
I think everyone is the main.
Yeah. There's certainly characters who aren't, but that franchise is usually heavily stacked with other characters plus the main the main characters.
We got Palutena, sure, but she's only there because we also got Pit and Dark Pit.
Right. So I don't think so. So that's a great point, and it's probably why we'll see Ribbon Girl and Springman. But we may get a what are we calling these characters?
Echo.
The Echo. I almost said shadow characters.
How dare you? The hedgehog.
We may get the Echo characters for Springman, because there was the robot version of Springman, Springtron, and I think that I could see that being an Echo character.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that too. It makes me I have some other thoughts on that too, but I'll wait a little moment. That's your first pick. Andrew, what is your mainline Smash fighter that will be in totally new entry?
Totally new entry is going to be Alucard from Castlevania.
Mm-hmm. So
that's Dracula's son, if anyone doesn't know.
It's also Dracula backwards, if you really piece it together. For all you puzzle solvers out there, for all you Nancy Drew or Hardy boys, you know how to solve this one.
But I think he'd be really cool, especially because I assume Simon Belmont will probably be in the game.
Yeah, that was part of the rumor I skipped over. So Simon Belmont, another Konami character and pivotal character back on the NES entry of Castlevania, the one that started the whole franchise. Simon Belmont is kind of the de facto lead character, even though pretty much every Castlevania game, with few exceptions, have a new set of protagonists or a single protagonist. But Simon is still the dude, and so that would be great. I would love to see Castlevania represented.
Yeah, I mean, it'd just be cool to have Simon actually fight someone from his series, whether or not Simon actually ever fought Alucard. I don't know.
You know what? He will now. Yeah, he didn't, but it would be awesome. Alucard Symphony of the Night on PlayStation 1 is a lot of times references the greatest of the Castlevania series. Yeah, I love the DS entries, but that was the one that really changed everything and brought it into that Metroidvania, the Vania being in reference to Symphony of the Night, that style of exploratory, explore the castle, explore the spoilers, inverted castle after you beat it. And Alucard is neat also because being the son of Drac, he can turn into a bat, he can turn into a wolf, and also his most famous form and most terrifying, he can turn into fog. So it would be interesting to see those mechanics play out as well. Maybe his counter is turning into fog, or his side B is a dash as a wolf.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
And the only thing about Alucard that would make him a less conventional pick is that is a PlayStation 1 game. But in the same vein, we do have Cloud, and Cloud also was the pivotal PlayStation game in Final Fantasy VII, which was not on a Nintendo console. So the door is definitely open for that style of character.
Right.
Well, good.
All right.
Okay, well,
you awesome.
Okay, so my totally new character. So I'm also thinking about third-party ones, and there's a lot of characters I'd like to see. This is an aside. I would love, not counting it, I would love to see Banjo-Kazooie appear. everyone would, especially given right now all the controversy. We didn't talk about this in the news, but because for Fortnite, PlayStation, you cannot use your PlayStation Fortnite account on any other console, but you can do that with Xbox and PC and Switch and mobile. Share that account data, but PlayStation is not playing nice with others. Yada yada. They've been doing this for years. So Microsoft and Nintendo have had a number of little tweets and kind of little commercial spots of showing like Minecraft being played between the two, and Fortnite, like you can play with both. And Larry Herb, Major Nelson on Twitter has been posting things like, I love playing between my Nintendo friends and Xbox friends, like, what a great ecosystem, things of that ilk, to kind of shame Sony and their resistance to having any type of crossplay. So it would be great if they took that energy and collaborated a bit, since Microsoft has, of course, the rights, having owning Rare to have Banjo and Kazooie in the game would be very exciting. Now my pick is going to be, flipping back, it'd be great to have some Final Fantasy characters.
Wait, so it wasn't Banjo?
It's not. That's a bonus. I just cheated it. It would be great to have Final Fantasy characters. This one will be quick. In the vein of the original Final Fantasy, also launched on NES, and just like our other third-party characters, Ryu, etc., and have Final Fantasy. Some of the best games have all been about the different classes, the warriors, the white mages, the dark mages, and kind of like Pokemon Trainer, or kind of like just having kind of like how you can fight with some of Robin's skills and things like that. Having a character where you can swap between different styles of play with a single character that has kind of a retro aesthetic for Final Fantasy 1, that would be very exciting. I would like to see that. That would be a surprise.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Kind of like the Banjo Kazooie one more, honestly.
Well, I liked it too. I got really excited about that one, and I didn't want to give as much time. I would also love to see that with Dragon Quest, with something as like a class-based system, something I don't expect. I think Banjo is still kind of, a lot of people feel like it might happen. It's worth mentioning, but I'd like to see something that's a little more surprising.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Especially with the just buddy Microsoft and Nintendo stuff that's been going on lately.
Right, exactly.
So my Echo pick, I know I mentioned earlier like an Echo pick for my ARMS character, but I really do think we're going to get an Octoling in this game.
That's so good.
And only because at first when they first showed us, they gave us the old bait and switch with the Splatoon, original release, when you think it's like the original trailer for Splatoon, then it turns into the Smash Bros, and you're like, okay, it's just Splatoon 1 characters, and then they released all the costumes, and you got like Splatoon 2 styles and hairstyles and clothing, and I'm like, okay, cool. So like this is an updated version of like these Splatoon characters. I have to believe there's gonna be an Octoling version to these characters, and I hope that's the case, especially they've just poured so much time into basically a whole other campaign for this game, and their amiibo are coming out. To me, it makes sense. And so that's what I would hope to see.
Yeah, that's a really good application of the Echo Fighter.
Yeah, that is a good one. His side Bs and whatever could just be different weapons from the other Inkling.
Oh, totally. I love it.
Yeah, the slosher,
and a lot of players, a lot of initial reactions were some really good feeling about these characters, about the Inklings. A lot of players said they enjoyed them. They thought they were fast, they were fun. I'm really excited. Like, I just really hope not everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna main an Inkling, because I want to main.
Let me main that Inkling.
Maining Pichu.
Maining Pichu, exactly. Never tell me the odds.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, where's Echo Alolan Raichu? That would be a good one too. But not mine.
Ooh. You don't think we'll get an Alolan Pokemon form at all?
There are so many Pokemon. Cool. I love them, but we got a lot. I mean, I know there are 150 already? Or more to see, but I do need to say, there are so many. It'd be great to see other franchises, but it would be neat. It would be neat. That's all I'll say.
Well, all right.
For my Echo, I was thinking one of Wolf's henchmen, Leon.
Leon, of course.
Yes. I feel like that'd be
that's a good one.
Wolf needs a buddy to fight. Falco and Fox, that's not a fair fight,
Oh, that's actually very good. I like that on like Final Destination. Have all four of them. That would be really neat.
Yeah.
Also, because as a bonus, Leo, the Panther, often is portrayed with a rose in the same way that Waluigi has been in recent iteration, and that would just be the rudest inclusion. I would love that. Okay, the last one.
That would be fantastic.
Can you imagine just the incredible troll? I feel like Sakurai would go for it. It'd be like all the more reason to include Leon to do that. Okay, so my last echo, not really a fascinating one, but I would like to see Dixie Kong in the mix. And Donkey Kong, major Nintendo franchise, the one that really put Nintendo on the map in terms of Donkey Kong, the game. And we only have Donkey and Diddy, and it'd be great to see Dixie as just an echo of Diddy, but then with a different, she doesn't have the peanut gun, maybe some small, changes, opposed to using like the rocket blast thing to go upward. Maybe she just has a little hair twirl, but it's like the same effect type thing. It would be just neat to have another Kong in there. I don't know that necessarily we need one with like an entirely new skill set, but that would be cool.
Yeah, I love that. I love that a lot. And I think that's probably super plausible.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think, with Tropical Freeze got such great positive reception. We see Donkey Kong now in Rabbids. The energy is there. I don't want to see really an echo of a Sonic character. I'd rather see a different series represented. We already have like Knuckles as his trophy. We haven't seen, I think, Shadow doing his Chaos Control as his trophy, so there's always a threat that he is in it as a character. But, I'd kind of prefer to keep them a little bit to the outskirts and see other series represented, or just other side characters that haven't got their moment in the limelight. But there are also so few female fighters in the roster that it would be really nice. There is some speculation as the final thought as we end the episode, but the rumor right now also is that people have been kind of really dissecting all the appearances, of course, of these characters, and they've compiled all the different outfits of Samus's, and they've noticed that they've just like from all the colors. So there's the one that looks like the fusion suit, and the various Various suit, and the way there's a pink one that looks a little bit like the coloration in the original NES Metroid game, which is neat. But they've noticed they've changed the look of like the Dark Samus suit, or I guess I should be saying like the Black Samus suit, because the speculation is maybe Dark Samus, the Ultra Samus form from Metroid Prime. That character is in Metroid Prime 3. Might have an appearance as an Echo Fighter, which would be cool to have another Metroid character now that we have Samus and Ridley, just to get another. Cool. And also we have Metroid Prime 4, hopefully coming out next year, just to kind of raise some hype on that. I think there's a strong chance we get a Fire Emblem, 3 Houses character, but we have so many, and I really do love the characters. But there's so many. I would be bummed if we're using valuable slots at this point to have another one of those, unless they fought like very differently.
No. Do you think there'll be DLC down the road, or is this going to be it?
Yeah, because your prediction was very focused on the DLC, kind of formula.
Service, but I think there will be some paid DLC. Honestly, I hope that there is. There's obviously a bit of a hypocrisy in calling it Ultimate and then having it not totally complete as a package. But that also is just kind of the nature of things. It would be nice. It's fun to have those characters, and it always revitalizes the game when it comes out. It's not the service game that I expected. This in a lot of ways is better, but it would be nice to see that kind of continued support.
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably going to happen. Nintendo, you've seen it, and I know we're not talking about it, but their stock price did go down as a result of their investors' just view of how their reveals for E3 went. It's the kind of the result of you have a Smash Brothers game that looks kind of like the other Smash Brothers, just has more content, and you have a Pokemon game that's not really a full Pokemon game mixed in with some all smaller announcements. And I think, like the fans, the investors weren't impressed with the lineup and didn't think that was going to necessarily get Nintendo to its goals. So I think Nintendo's in a position where they're going to try to milk the Smash Brothers franchise as much as possible, and this seems like inevitable that we'll get a few characters. They're gonna go up to Sakurai's door and they're like, "You're not done yet.
You're not done yet. Or say goodbye to your wrists, boy. If you don't do that on this, right? We'll take your ankles next, Sakurai." I suspect you are probably right, and I like to think of it being continually supported. It would be really awesome if they released some of those characters as free characters, because the fractioning of the community for the last one was, a little bit of a bummer. And if this game's going to have, a big online presence and people are going to be already paying the new Nintendo Online subscription come September, it would be a good show of faith that they're like, hey, if you're paying for the online service, like, you're getting, Mega Man X or some type of character as like an included free character. That would be, I think, a great way to promote that.
Oh yeah. Cool. Okay, so I think we're all very excited for Smash Brothers. Just a little bit. It's really interesting to see what comes down the pipeline. I think one of us is going to be right. I think one of the things we said today is absolutely going to happen.
Right. And
oh gosh.
I'm sure. Which one of us?
I'm not gonna say what, but I'm calling it now. One of us is right.
I don't want to spoil it, but it is Alucard. Right. So congratulations, Andrew. You did get it. You are the ANP winner of this episode. Yeah. Sakurai's on the phone. He's on the other line. I'm hopeful. I'm so excited for this game. The more and more I think about Smash Bros. Right now, I'm looking at just the scrolling Smash Bros. Just think like the website and the art. I just like it's such the game that you just want there on the Switch at all times, just to crack open and play. Andrew and I had a great time playing tennis last week, but it's like sometimes you're gonna settle it and smash, and it would be nice. It's so exciting to have it on there. Really,
are you downloading it, or are you getting a physical copy?
Andy, what are you gonna do?
Oh, I like the box. Oh, got to go with the box art, to be honest.
Right, that's the only reason I pre-ordered it.
A big pull for me.
I'm going Digi. I'm going Digi for everything. That's kind of the way it is. I'm the real digital monster.
What happens when the internet dies or something?
Well, what happens when you lose the cartridge? Which is coming first? It's a game I just need. I have a lot of physical games on my 3DS. Play my 3DS still all the time, and it is one of those games where I wish I had it digitally, because I find myself on positions where I just need I'm having a conflict maybe at work or an argument with a once close friend, and I just got to be like, what? I'll see you out. You meet the end of Toon Link's Blade, and we'll kind of we'll take it from there. But it would be nice. I'm so excited.
I think it's going to be the cartridge game that I kind of have in there at all times until the next big. For me, I have Mario, Zelda, and honestly, I bought Rabbids as a cartridge because I thought I'd play it and return it, and here I am, haven't beat it yet.
Slide on. Thought you could get away from Rabbid Beach, did you?
So I haven't those are the 3 physical copies, but when I saw the box art, I was like, ooh, yes, I want it. That being said, though, I'm also usually every E3, and we kind of wrap up with this conversation. I will go through, and prior to the digital age of Nintendo, I would just pre-order everything on Amazon. All this stuff I wanted, I'd get 6 months out, and I'd get the hard copies. And now I'm in this predicament where I'm like, I just want to have the satisfaction of knowing I got mine on a pre-order, but some of these games I don't know if I want digital or in person. For example, Let's Go Pikachu.
Right.
It's a game that I think would make sense to download a copy of, but then they have the deal where you can buy the game and the Pokeball, and we all know I want that Pokeball. Then of course you have Starlink Battle for Atlas.
Great flick. I'm talking Tom Hanks. Let's talk about that for Cloud Atlas. Tom Hanks. Continue.
And I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna get it. I think I'm getting that game. I want the Fox. I want the R-Wing.
I feel like a lot of the conversations post E3 actually have been really, really positive on Starlink. Everyone's like, this is the one to check out. I think I will actually get that one Digi, because the R-Wing, I think bundle is 80 or so, $79.99.
But can you get it without the stuff? I don't think you can.
I think you can.
Right?
I think it's automatically in the Switch version. You don't need to scan. Oh, I know what you mean. I know the games work like that. I guess the game does totally work like that. Do you think there's no digital copy? There must be. Yeah, that's a great point. I have no idea.
I don't know. That's why I'm like, I guess I'll do a little more research now, but I'm afraid like if I wait, I mean, it's going to be there. It's going to be there, but I definitely want to pick one up before it becomes like a popular game and then people are really trying to get a hold of this R-Wing and then you can't find them.
What is so cool about it also, I mean, apparently Fox does have his like own campaign in the game, which is more than just like a downloadable character or like special feature, which is really neat. And there's the ground combat.
Yeah, you can play
too.
the whole game as him and have this like whole separate campaign with him, which I think is awesome. And I'm like, okay, are we getting other characters? Because he does mention boys in his little cameo.
He does say boys. So there needs to be at least.
And you see 4 R-Wings rocket off.
Oh man, he does say boys. I love that. Let's just dissect that for a while. What kind of boys?
Rock and roll.
And he's saying boys. Presumably they're on the younger side, not quite men, but people clearly on kind of on that precipice of manhood. These are the people that this furry fox wearing a vest and a handkerchief is referring to. Who are they?
Anyway, so yeah. So we're kind of split then on our digital versus physical copy purchasing habits.
We are. And when the EMP blast goes off, you boys will have the last laugh. Even though you can't, use it anymore, you'll at least have the cartridges to eat, to lick.
Yeah. Okay, that's true.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. Anyone have anything else for this episode? No? Going once, going twice?
I think it's going to do it.
Jurassic World is pretty cool. Go see it.
Jurassic World. Did you see it, Matt?
I haven't. I was pretty close to going to see it yesterday, and I keep getting the like my friends are like, "Oh, I heard it wasn't great."
Mm-hmm.
Don't listen to it.
I'm like, it's Jurassic Park.
So
if you look at it all in the vacuum, and you're like, okay, these are all sequels. This is definitely one of the better sequels.
Right.
Okay, I like that. I like to hear that.
And we all loved those other sequels, so that really is high praise.
I will be seeing it soon then.
Very good.
So, okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's it for another Nintendo podcast. We'll catch you in the next one. Until then, we're going to go ahead and sing. I don't know. What should we sing?
You know what we're going to do instead? Why don't we pull?
Let's make rabbit noises, maybe.
Let's do Jurassic Park.
There is no park like Jurassic Park.
That's how John Williams originally was. And you know what? You know what we also put in here at the end, Matt? Maybe a little of that music now found on the Super Smash Bros. Website. Some of the new remixes, those new tunes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So we're just gonna pretend like we're rocking out to that while one plays right now. Here we go.